Hello and welcome to my 53rd book synopsis. મારું આજનું પુસ્તક જે છે wait. I'm sure you would have gone bonkers as to why this fellow is speaking in Gujarati. Well, just trying to flaunt my linguistic skills, nothing short of that. The book that I'm going to talk today was originally written in Gujarati in 1922, 100 years back, and then translated exactly 100 years later, that is in 2022, by an author called Mr. Murali Ranganathan. Now, Mr. Murali Ranganathan is a translator and historian. He primarily researches on 19th century and Western India and especially Mumbai. One more book which he had translated, very important milestone. The name of the book was originally a Marathi book called as Mumbaiche Varnan, written in 1863 by an author Govind Narayan, and he translated that book in 2008 called as Mumbai an Urban Biography. Sorry. Now what about this book? Let us now talk about this book. This book is written originally by Mr. Nariman Karkaria, who hailed from Navsari, Gujarat, and he took part in 3 fronts in World War I, a quite remarkable achievement. The original name of the book, I forgot to get the book here. The original name of the book is Rangabhumi par Rakhad, Gujarati, and the translation of that book is The First World War, a war memoir by Nariman Karkaria. Why did I like the book? First and foremost, can you imagine a boy of 16 years old ran away from home, Navsari, to China in year 1910 to make the fortunes, because a lot of Parsis had made fortunes in China at that point of time. So he went to China by sea, and how he spends their life there, not an easy life, okay, but he manages. He talks about that in the first chapter before the war story starts. And he talks a lot about Chinese people, how they are mehnati and all those things. He comes back around 1913, 1914, but obviously once you have that chaska of roaming around, you cannot stay at home. So he decides to go back again, and in 1914 he again goes to China, and from China he travels to Russia, Siberia, then he travels to Scandinavian countries, and from there he travels to England, London, to enroll himself as a soldier for First World War. During this journey, I think it was quite a big journey, more than a month or so, he travels through road, rail, water, everything, and manages to reach London. Obviously, he is told that he should be a part of Indian Army, but he somehow manages to get enlisted in the British Army as a private. They would call them as a Tommy. He is silent about how he managed to do that. Now I will talk about the 3 fronts on which he took part, which are critical part of this entire book. The first one was in France. Enemy. He uses the word enemy quite regularly rather than Germans. The terrain was difficult, in the sense it was a flat, but there was a cold as well as rain. He has written that it would rain in so much sometimes that in the trenches that they would have dug, the water would come even sometimes to a height, up to a height where they would actually have to come out. But if they come out, they will die because of the enemy fire. So he has to face enemy fire plus the bombs which would explode the poison. That was maybe a common thing at that point of time. He goes to the front as well, and he gets a good news that this is going to be his last day on that particular war front. On the last day, while he is coming back, he is hit by a shrapnel and gets injured. He is transferred to France in a bigger hospital and spends 3 months in the hospital, and then given a 15 days of sick leave, and then asked to join one more front. We'll talk about that front later on. During that time, he travels to London and he is given the account of how the London looked like. He says that every person in England is trying to contribute to the war. If the men have gone for war, women are taking their places and they are trying to work and ensure that the country is run because the men have gone to war. The second one, he is required to go to Middle East. From rain to dry area, sand of sea, that's all, completely dryness. And here he goes to, in the Middle East, he first travels to Egypt, and from Egypt they have to fight Turkey because Turkey was fighting along with Germans in this particular war. He talks about Turkey soldiers, how well built they are, one soldier equal to 10 our soldiers, etc. But the main concern was fighting in the desert. They win this battle as well, and then from there he travels to Jerusalem. Please note that Jerusalem is not in Israel. Israel was formed only in 1948. So Jerusalem was not part of Israel at that point of time. After getting relieved from that front, he is then asked to go to Balkan countries, on the Balkan front. In the Balkan front, the challenge is completely different. He has to face mountains, and any war in the mountain, and especially when the enemy is sitting on top and you are sitting below, you are like a sitting ducks. So how they navigated through that is a beautiful account. Here he talks a lot about German soldiers, German equipments, and he categorically says that they were far superior than the Allied forces. Everything, equipment, uniform, soldiers, all put together. That particular battle and war ends together, and Allied forces win the war. He then describes how they all enjoyed it, and then he will be discharged. That's what the rule is. Before he getting discharged, he obviously travels to a lot of places which include Baku. Everybody knows Baku was and is famous for oil fields. He also travels to Constantinople, now called as Istanbul, and talks a lot about the beauty and the locations that he has seen in details. He then comes back to Mumbai and stays in India. He died in 1949 as a major in Indian Army. Now, if you look at this, as per Mr. Murali Ranganathan, the author probably has not kept any diary of sort. He used to write some letters. From that he has written after he has come back. My view of reading this book, probably why we should all read this book for 3 reasons. One is that you would see very few accounts of the First World War and where Indian has taken part and he has written something about it. So it is the first account of what the story was at that time. You can imagine 1910, no mobile phones, no laptops, very pure communication ways, how they survived, and he survived all 3 fronts miraculously. Second point is the way he writes, he transports us to that era, and we believe that we are actually in that era. And third thing, most important is that in this book, how this book, that is translated version, came into account is also an interesting part. I'm sure you would all like to see. There is some portion or part played by Amitabh Ghosh, who has done the introduction for this book. A beautifully written book all of us should read for us to understand the history and especially First World War. There are very few accounts. I think that's all from my side. I'll be posting this video on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page with the same name, Books from My Eyes, as well as on my LinkedIn page. If you like my videos, please do subscribe and like to them so that you can, and press notification button so that you can get the regular updates on a monthly basis, which I post on 1st of every month. Thank you so much, and bye bye. I think I have exceeded the time, but I could not control myself. Bye bye. Take care.